Alright, what is going on everyone on YouTube? Griffin here coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, before we get going, if you're new to the channel and you'll be tuning in for the first time, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below and hitting that little bell icon right by it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. So with that, as you can see, it's now just after 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, which means the futures market is back up and going for the upcoming week. It looks like we're opening down a little bit lower going into the overnight session. We're down about just under 1/4%, 0.2% to be exact. We're looking at ES right now. I mean to be on MES. Same thing. They're going to be moving hand in hand with one another, of course. But we'll go over to my paper trading account since that is obviously what I'm using currently. So as of now, I do not think it has updated. We are currently in 2 long positions, and I'll discuss kind of my positions from Friday, Thursday, Friday. I had some shorts that I had all week. I don't even remember the last time I uploaded, so I'm just going to go ahead and update you guys from the last week. And I apologize, by the way, I have like this really bad pain in my gum and it's causing me issues with talking here and there. But so we had some shorts that we placed, I believe either sometime Sunday night, Monday, somewhere in that range for the market, sometime early to start the week, and we had to hold those for a little bit. But overall we ended up profiting very well. We are now up over $2,300 so far since trading the new Micro E-mini S&P 500 specifically. I'll get it pulled up here for you guys and show you on the camera. So as you can see, P&L year to date is right around $2,200 to $2,300. Of course, it's fluctuating right now as the market just opened, and it looks like the S&P overall is lower by about 0.2% right now. If we go look at the live, but as you can see, we're in 2 longs currently right now. This is saying we're still up about 137. Hasn't really updated yet. It's going to be slightly behind because the whole delay on the simulation trading. But I can tell you, since our average price is $29.19, that we're still up actually quite a bit. So that might be right. So we're up about just under 10 points still, and on 2 positions, of course, just to do the math for you all. Every 1 point move, a whole point, you're going to make $5. So we're up right around $50 right now, roughly. 50 times 2 positions would be 100. So we're up about $100 on that position. So I mean, it is still behind on what it's showing for our profit, but we are still up on that position. The reason that I switched to the long from the short was one, because we made quite a bit of money shorting. I actually closed my position once I reached my target. It was like $29.89, I believe, is where I sold on my short, and we'll kind of go back here just so you all can see kind of what I did. And what I did was I obviously sold and we had this dump. So like I said, we came down to like 29.80 something when I sold somewhere in here. And then I saw the market had this huge, almost 1% move. What was that? Thursday? Yeah, Thursday we had that bounce back, and I was like, you know what? I think this is a dead cat bounce. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and short again, and that's what we did. We shorted at an average price of like 3,004, if I recall. And then, of course, we dumped again. And when we dumped, I went ahead and profited some more off of that. I don't know if I can pull up my old orders and see exactly what all happened. Last 7 days. Okay, so the last 7 days, I mean, we had a whole bunch of moves going on. But the total positions that we were holding were roughly, I accidentally, also, this is another rookie mistake that I want to make clear to you guys, so you guys don't do this. Whenever you're doing these futures, always, always, always make sure that if you're shorting, because it'll pop up as sell whenever you're shorting, right? So when you're closing your position and it's a short, you have to buy, right? Obviously, rookie mistake, of course. So I'm sure a lot of you made this mistake, and you probably know where I'm going with this. Whenever I was closing my short position, I knew I had a 6 position total position of shorts, and I wanted to close it, so I hit sell for 6. So I ended up adding 6 more to my position, which made it a 12 short position, which, I mean, didn't matter. I went ahead and hurried up and sold, and actually made me like a few more bucks because the market continued to drop, obviously, in the afternoon. But Just point being, whenever it's like a highly volatile day, a lot of swinging going on, you don't want to do that. And then obviously, of course, you want to make sure you have the money in your account. But anyways, it was technically 12 position overall, but it was really 6. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this right around 5 positions because I know that's more than likely the most that I'll be trading. 5 positions within micro E-mini futures is going to be somewhere right around 3,000, maybe slightly more, about 3,100 roughly, because it's about $690 to $700 per position. So if you have 5, that would be actually, yeah, right around 3,000, 3,200, something like that, after your commissions and fees, all that stuff. So usually I do right in between 1 to 5. And besides, once you get over 5, if you're doing what you need to keep in mind, guys, if you're doing 10, because all the micro E-mini future is, it's essentially 1/10 of /ES. Because if you do an ES contract, it's just all the multiplication is just by 10 essentially. So if you're going to do a 10 contract position of micro E-mini, you might as well just hop over to ES, because you're going to save on, I believe at least, you save quite a bit on commissions and fees, especially on not Tastyworks, TD Ameritrade. If you're using TD Ameritrade for your futures, anything over 5 or 6, I would just go ahead and trade the big dog, the ES. It's not even big. It's still just an E-mini, but you get what I'm saying, right? Because with your commissions and fees and everything, if you start doing like 7, 8, 9, 10, once you get over 10, it's completely 9 to 10. It's not even worth it. I say micro E-mini is good for people that are limited on capital. You're new to trading, want to get into futures and whatnot. I think personally your best route would be just somewhere right around 5, because even with 5 positions, like I said, you're talking right around 3,000 to 3,200, somewhere in that range for a trade. And most of us are going to be only trading like 2 positions for the most part, but just keep that in mind. Of course, the more contracts you get, and I think we even mentioned this, a few of you were mentioning this in our Discord group chat, which, by the way, if you're not in there, that's down in the description box. I heard a couple of you were having issues with it at some point. It should be working now, but if you have trouble getting in, just shout it out in the comments or in the chat, and I will try to get you that link for sure. So it looks like we're pulling back up a little bit. So I honestly think, I mean, I'm not surprised by this. We tend to have a pretty big drop or pop up to start the new week. So now we're kind of heading back to unched, unmoved. So we'll see what happens overnight tonight. I honestly would not be surprised one way or the other. My gut is telling me that we should be going long, which is why I went ahead and bought 2 more. I have 2 positions that are long currently, and just basically because I don't know, my gut's telling me that this is not necessarily a correction. We haven't had this huge swing to the downside. I mean, we did have about a 100-point move to the downside, which was what, roughly a couple percentage points if I remember right. Let's see here. We made a new all-time high, and we came down to 29.13. So we had roughly a 3 to 4% move to the downside. So I mean, nothing crazy, just a little dip. And in all honesty, it was all because of the whole trade war talk. And then of course we had the Fed not really do what everyone was kind of expecting. I mean, they cut rates, but they only cut them by 0.25. And they didn't really indicate how many more, or if any more, rate cuts are going to be happening this year. Honestly, the market I get why the market's going up on this, but at the end of the day, I think the market, it's not going to launch this market much higher, because I think deep down everyone knows if the economy's doing so well, why are we cutting rates at the end of the day? Because that's something you just don't do if the economy's really doing that well. But that's a different topic for a different day. I just think overall, though, this is just a dip buy. In all honesty, it just doesn't feel like necessarily a sell-off or anything like that. So that is why I went from shorting to going long. I thought 2,900 was probably going to be the floor all along. We came close to it. We bounced pretty good. We're back up around 2,930 now, even on this little dip at the open. So it'll be interesting to see tomorrow. I think tomorrow, in all honesty, we'll bounce back. I think we're going to hit somewhere around like 2,950 tomorrow. That's a pretty good move to the upside, of course, from where we're at right now. We're right around 2,930. So for us to be at 2,930 and move to 2,950, you're talking about roughly a 0.5% to 0.75% type of day, and I don't think that's necessarily like anything crazy. That's just my 2 cents. I mean, it could easily be, I could be wrong and we could drop to the downside. If we break 2,900, then yes, I think we're going into a correction. But just, I think the market's really moving just off of news headlines more than anything. I mean, I do see overall, you guys know I was talking about this when we go back to like the 1 year. If we go over to ES, I thought we were on ES. Go back over there. Every time we've kind of almost looked like we've run out of steam, we've had these pretty big moves to the downside, and obviously the sell-off at the end of last year. But I mean, even back in October, you could tell we were chugging, and then it seemed like we barely broke our. I think that was when we broke all-time highs again, or maybe we didn't quite reach it, but we were flirting around with all-time highs, and we were barely taking these previous highs out. Not all-time highs, but we were taking this previous high out barely. Then we got rejected, and then we had this push down. We're seeing similar movement going on right here, which we seen it again back in like May and June. Or was it the end of April? Yeah, it was early May, not June. June is when it finished up, and then we went back up. But we've seen the same kind of price action going on back in May, late April, early May, and then we had this push to the downside for all of May, of course. Then, of course, we came back up, and now we're starting to see similar price action going on. And you can see we're down, of course, like we said, about 4 to 5% right now, or something like that, right around 4% to the downside. So, I mean, we could, like I said, if we break 2,900, I think we could retest somewhere around 28 to 28.25. But, and even that's only another 100 points to the downside. Either way, so you're talking about what? About an 8% correction, roughly. Nothing crazy, but a really good dip buy opportunity. And in all honesty, if that ends up happening, one, I'll probably have time to make money on my longs. Like I said, I'm still in the profit on them. And if it looks like, if tomorrow I get a gut feeling that we may continue to keep going down, then what I'll do is at some point I'll go ahead and sell them for profit in the next couple days. And then I won't short, but what I'll do is I'll just sit out on the market, let it kind of decide what it wants to do, similar to oil, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But I'll just let the market decide kind of if it's going to keep breaking down or if we're going to kind of get our heads out of our butts here and keep moving up and maybe make new all-time highs. It's going to be a pretty big week, honestly, because like I said, I don't think we're selling off for the right reasons. It's more so news headline related. But the price action overall, you guys know I've been mentioning this for the last couple weeks now. The price action's looking very similar to every time we've had our big dips or even correction territory. We haven't had a true correction yet this year, so I would not be surprised either if we do have our first correction here coming up in the next week or two. But either way, what I will end up doing, if I do not like the price action, like I said, I'll get out by Monday, Tuesday, sit out, kind of see what happens. And if we end up breaking down, then what I'm going to do is actually do a little experiment, since it's all paper money for me, of course, paper trading. What I'll do is I'll let the market kind of break down, find what I think is the floor, so to speak, which, like I said, I think will be somewhere around like 2,800, maybe just a little bit above 27.90 to 28.25, somewhere in that range. And once we bounce, and I can confirm that we bounce, and it looks like we'll have some V, which you can almost tell every time, because every time we have quote-unquote bounced, found our floor, we have a huge up day followed by another pretty decent day. So you can see, had a good up day, and then boom, a big green day, and we continued on for like a week, and then on you just slowly but surely keep moving up, of course. So I'll look for similar price action if this plays out, of course. It may not. Like I said, I don't think we're selling off for the right reasons. I wouldn't be surprised to see us bounce a little bit here, retest all-time highs once more before we continue down. But it's going to be a pretty big week. But in theory, if this plays out, I'll wait for us to show signs of a V formation, and then I'll hop in for a long, and I'll play it out all the way through the expiration date almost, and we'll see just kind of how much money you can make, like true passive income. It's going to be an experiment, actually, that I'll do like for you guys here on YouTube and whatnot, just kind of to show you guys like you can have actual passive income just by buying these S&P 500 micro E-mini S&P 500 futures. You can simply just find a dip, buy, hold, obviously pay attention, don't just let it go on cruise control. That's how you lose money, of course, no matter what you're investing in. You always want to pay attention daily, weekly, etc. But you can literally go do your full-time job, just check in kind of here and there, and just slowly but surely make your money. Because, for example, guys, if you were to buy, say the market breaks down, like we said, say it touches 27.75, for example, and we see this V form and you decide to hop in at 28.25. So you decide to hop in at 28.25 and you decide that, okay, once we reach 3,000, I think we're going to hit a brick wall. So you're saying, okay, I want a 75-point move, but you're only buying one contract again because you're just starting out. But if you wait and hold that thing for tax advantages too, 75-point move times $5, you made $375, which, by the way, how much money did you put in on that? Roughly $692, because when the market goes down, the value, like how much you have to put in initial margin, goes down as well, or goes up if the price continues to go up. But by then it'll be around $691, $692 if you're getting in at what do we say, like 20, is it 29.25? I don't remember, something like that. Either way, we're saying that you're going to get in at 29.25. I want to be right on that. Let me make sure. No, 28.25. So no, my math is actually completely wrong. Yeah, so you're going to get in at 28.25, and if you wait till 3,000, that's 175. I knew my math wasn't right on that. So 175 points times $5, because you're getting $5 per whole point move to the upside. $875, I can already tell you, you're over doubling your money. You're going to get in at $692, and that's fees and everything per position. You made 126% on your money. Obviously, that's not guaranteed or anything. That's just your target sell. Obviously, you don't like hold out if it looks like the market's going to continue to roll over and we go into this big nasty correction like we had, or even the big one, the crash that we all know is coming eventually. Like, you don't want to be, like I said, you don't want to be stupid, you don't want to be naive, you don't want to just simply buy and hold it and never look at it. You want to analyze, look at your graphs, look at your charts, everything like that, day to day, week by week, and just make a good decision, of course. But I'm gonna actually do that with you guys with my paper trading account when the market decides to kind of go into a correction or break down next time, even this time included. If we continue to slide this week or whatever, I'm gonna put this kind of to test, so to speak, and I'll just buy one contract. I'll write it down and everything, keep track of it, how much it costs, and then where we end up selling, how much money you make. Because, like I said, guys, I mean, if you get, now, let's see, we were talking what, 175 points. And you hold this, say for example, it's roughly 2 months. So in 2 months, you're talking about roughly an 87-point move to the upside, 87.5, which at a starting point of what, 28.25, right? Yeah, 28.25. You're talking about a 3% move per month, which doesn't necessarily happen. If that happens, the S&P would average 36% on the year, which doesn't really happen, of course. But we do have those months where the market rips, of course. Obviously, first quarter, when we started the year off on a tear, up like 15% alone or something ridiculous like that. 12 to 15%, what the market usually does in a whole year. So, I mean, it just kind of depends. Like I said, this is all just based on your best case scenario where you catch it in a V formation and it continues to just rip. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm anxious to do that experiment and kind of see just how the contract plays out over the full term. Like, we would buy this in September, for example, late September, early October, and let it play out until December and see what happens with that contract. I think that'll be an interesting little series that we'll end up doing here next quarter. So, but let me make sure that our streams are still doing all right. Looks like we are. I don't know if anyone got the notification that we went live, because YouTube's been messing with my channel lately. So this price action is obviously behind. You can see we're at 29.75 currently. This is showing we're at 28.75. So like it says, it's behind on the simulation, which means my whole profit loss is wrong. But if I go to my phone, it is up to date, and it shows we're still up $105. We're down $26.50 since the open. So we'll see what happens. They're probably going to pin it somewhere right around 29.30 until we have our big overnight move, is kind of what I believe. But we'll see what happens. They might try to, if they push it up and it gets above 29.30, then we'll probably rebound and we'll end up going positive before the end of the night. But I think they'll probably pin it somewhere around 29.30 for the time being, personally. Got one of you tuning in right now. But like I said, if you're all new to the channel, definitely consider that subscribe button below. We'd love to have you here. We have almost 700 of you tuning in. Our goal is to reach 1,000 by the end of the year. So if you're new, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider subscribing and joining our Discord group chat. There's about 100 of us down there. Just a small little community of like-minded individuals looking to just achieve financial freedom. We mostly talk about trading in the stock market and all that good stuff. We also have stuff about just like making money online, be it thrifting, eBay selling, Amazon, all that good stuff. We have multiple tabs for any way to make money online, and we're always open to new ideas, of course. We're not very strong on Bitcoin, though, I will tell you that much. But yeah, I mean, overall for the market, like I said, I'm not convinced that we're kind of going into a correction or anything just because the market's selling just based off of news headlines more than anything. You guys know that for the past few weeks, I've been the one advocating that we're due for a correction, but I do not, my guts just tell me this is not the one that's going to like lead to it, or at least going to have some sort of dead cat bounce, in my opinion, which is why I went ahead and in my paper trading account we purchased 2 long positions because I think we're at least going to try to retest 29.50 before getting rejected and coming down. This could be the start of the correction, but I do believe we're at least going to have some sort of dead cat bounce before continuing downward, and at that point I think we'll be retesting 2800. So, which still wouldn't even be like a huge correction, right? We're talking about roughly what, about 8% roughly, somewhere around there. Let's see, if we came down to 2800, you're talking about, if I can get it close, yeah, you're talking about roughly 7.5 to 8% correction. If we come down as far as I believe the market should come on a true correction, which would be around 2650, that would be a correction. You'd be around 13% move to the downside. So we'll see what happens overall. Overall, I think the market is super overdue to come back down a bit, about a year overdue. I thought for sure whenever we broke 29.50 that we were going to go back under 2,000, but had the old, what they call it, Santa Claus New Year's rally, and we've just kind of ripped up ever since. So, but cutting rates, I'll say it time and time again, cutting rates is not a sign of a good economy whatsoever. They're just delaying the inevitable, in my opinion. So, like I said a minute ago, if we get above 29.30, they could pull it on back up and we might actually go positive. We're at 29.31. RSI is not really hot or nothing. MACD's not either. So, I mean, we could continue to rip up here. It'll be anxious to see if they pull it up. We're now up $117.50 on our 2 longs, $115 now, and we're down about $19 now on the day with this little move to the downside. So nothing crazy, just holding those 2 longs. My target sell in these would be 29.50 from where we're currently at, which is 29.30. That'd be another 20 points. 20 points times 5, of course, is $100 per position, so that'd be another $200 of profit, which for me would put me somewhere right around $300 of profit. So, on 2 positions. So, if you're wanting to calculate, okay, what would your return be? $300 of profit divided by, I have 2 positions, so that's right around 690. We'll just say 695, even though I got in for 693. You got to think when you're closing, you have your commissions as well. So we'll say 695. That's what, 1,200, 1380, 1390 roughly. So divided by 1390, that would be a 21.5% return. So that is not bad. That's why I love futures, guys. I mean, you can get amazing returns trading futures in a fairly short amount of time. I mean, most of these I only hold for sometimes as short as a day. Sometimes as long as a week, roughly, week or 2 weeks in some cases, depending on, usually it's the shorts I notice that I've told the longest. I don't really like shorting too much just because It's hard to time when the market's going to come down, but generally speaking, you can time when the market's going to go up. It always goes up over time, right? But you can just make so much more money trading futures, swinging futures, versus just simply throwing your money in a 401k or something like that. I mean, 21.5% in what I believe could happen here in the next day or two. Now, where I would consider selling, if the price action doesn't look good around 29.40, I would consider selling around there, which is still not bad. We're talking another 10 points to the upside, so that's what, $100 more of profit. So we're talking roughly, what, about $225 of profit, roughly. 225 divided by what I say, 1380 or something like that. 1380, we'll just say 1390. Still talking 16% return, and again, relatively 1 to 2 days. And I mean, that's an amazing return. I mean, are you going to make that on every trade? No. But I will say, since I started trading micro e-mini futures, paper trading, of course, I don't want to make you seem like I'm using my money right now. For those of you that don't know, like me or anything, I had been trading with money, like actual money. I started trading paper trading because we actually are coming up on our first child at that. Our first child is due this upcoming Tuesday, August the 6th. So we've just been like piling up money. We've got like roughly, I don't know, about 4 months or so worth of expenses saved up right now. And we're just trying to make sure we have enough money on hand where just make sure the baby and my fiance come home all right. She'll be able to take time off work. I'm going to take some time off. Just not have to worry about money at all, essentially. Just focus on this new change of life. And then once we get adjusted and everything, and we feel like we are confident in my capability to trade these micro e-mini futures, we will allow myself enough money to at least trade one contract. I'll start out with just $700 in that account, just trade one contract at a time. Not going to have like crazy good results or anything, of course, but I mean, even this one contract, for example, my average price that I'm in, let's go look at my paper trade. Our average price is $29.19.25. So let's say I got in at $29.20 to keep it simple. So we're in at $29.20. If I even sold right now, say at $29.30, that is a 10-point profit, which isn't nothing crazy, but 10 points times 5, that's $50. A $50 return on a $693 investment is 7.25, roughly, right? So I mean, that's not bad. And like I said, if I held till my target, which is at the minimum $29.40, at the max $29.50, you're talking again a 30-point profit overall times $5 per point, $150 profit divided by $693, which includes your commissions and everything, of course. Again, 21% return. I will not complain about that. And what was that profit? $150. So I mean, if I can just literally with one contract make an extra 50 bucks a week, 100 bucks a week here and there, it's just extra money for us, if nothing else. And then honestly, I won't be like taking that money out. I'll just keep reinvesting, and then eventually I'll buy 2 contracts, then 3, etc. And then maybe we'll go on over to the bigger e-mini, the ES, once we have about $6,000 or $7,000 in there. But that's just why, if anyone's wondering, well, why is this guy trading paper futures? That's why I just want to be upfront. It's not like that I'm scared to use my money. If you go, I mean, I have a bunch of videos on here that just showed me using real money on Robinhood and whatnot. It's just where we're at right now. It's just about being smart and just knowing the situation. So like I said, I think overall they're probably going to pin it right around 29.30. I said that earlier about 15 minutes ago. We did get above it briefly, which is encouraging in all honesty. But I do think they're going to hold it overall right around 29.30 tonight, and then that's going to set up for a pretty big overnight swing either to the downside or upside. Usually, from what I have always noticed in the futures market, if we don't have just some huge drop or huge pop that sticks, like you continue to go down or you continue to go up, if we kind of have this pop down but then we slowly come back, or vice versa, we come back close to center, usually you end up, not usually, but I'd say more times than not, you end up reversing and you end up going positive overnight, or opposite, you go negative overnight. So I'll be interested to see kind of what happens by the time like 10 o'clock tonight rolls around, 10 o'clock Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. If we're still stuck somewhere right around lunch, then I think we go positive. And like I said, 29.40, 29.50 is not out of the realm of possibility tomorrow. Just depends on volume and if there's any news headlines and whatnot. So with that, if we don't have any questions or anything, then I will just go ahead and wrap the stream up. For those of you that did tune in, I greatly appreciate it. If you did like the stream, definitely make sure to smash that thumbs up. I greatly appreciate that. If you didn't, then make sure to hit that thumbs down. It's just all about engagement at the end of the day. And if you see this video after it uploads and you have any questions or anything like that, just shoot them out down in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. And like I said, if you're not already in our Discord group chat, check that out. It's down in the description box. For you all. And like I said, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we go live. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys hopefully for the next few days, just to give you all an update. And then if nothing else, maybe our baby girl will be here, and I might try to do some sort of vlog for that. Which I'll ask you guys in a future video or on Discord. If you guys want me, or if you've made it this far in the video, if you want me to do a little vlog about our first kid and experience and whatnot, let me know, and I might talk to my fiance about doing that for you guys. I think you all might enjoy it. But if not, whatever. But like I said, hope to see you guys in the next stream. If you haven't already, subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, guys.